So good morning, students.
Good morning, sir.
So students, any questions related to the MHC class 2 pathway, the endocytic pathway?
No, sir.
Okay, let's just wait for some time so that other students join. And today we are going to start with the next pathway, which is your MHC1 pathway or the cytosolic pathway. Okay. Okay, students. So by the time others join, so let's have some discussion. Can anyone tell me what is CLIP?
Class 2 associate. So can I tell?
Yes, Namrita, try.
Uh, sir, class 2 associated uh, invariant chain peptide.
Okay. And what is the role of invariant chain? Anyone? What is the role of invariant chain? Yes, Manaswini?
Sir, so when the MHC2 molecule is being formed, the invariant chain also binds to the peptide binding cleft to ensure that there is no premature binding of unwanted antigen peptides.
Okay. Okay. So this is just one of the role of invariant chain. Okay. So there are few more roles which, although I have not told, but I'm sure when you will read, you will find that this invariant chain has few more role, and that include the proper structure of this MHC class 2 molecule and few other associated roles. Okay, so my next question is, and students, I want some other student to answer this, not Namrita, not Manaswini. So my question is, what is the role of HLA-DM? What is the role of HLA-DM? Yes, Tanvi?
So it removes CLIP and in its used for loading of class 2 molecules with antigen peptides.
Yes, so
And
it basically helps in removal of the clip from the peptide binding clip and adding a peptide to that groove. Okay, so that is the main role of HLA-DM. Okay. Okay, now name any non-professional antigen presenting cell. Any other person? Any other one? Namrita has already given an answer. Manaswini has already given an answer. Tanvi has already given an answer. Any other person? Any other person? Okay, so it seems like only 2-3 students uh, they are reading properly. Okay, so yes, Namrata.
Sir, thyroid epithelial cell, thymic epithelial cell, fibroblast, or brain cell, glial cell.
Okay. So, there are a lot of different types of non-professional antigen presenting cells. So, their actual role is not antigen processing and presentation, but under certain conditions, they may act as antigen uh, presenting cells. Okay. Okay, so students, I can still see like still only 13 students have joined. So, almost 10 students have not joined. But I'm going to start with the class now. And today we are going to talk about the second pathway. Okay. So if you remember yesterday we talked about the pathway in which the exogenous antigens were processed and presented to CD4 positive T helper cell, right? So today we will see what pathway is used when it's an internal antigen, right? Or an endogenous antigen which has developed inside the cell, but because it was not evolved or our immune system has not seen it during the initial phases, therefore it is recognized as non-self. Okay, so obviously if the immune system is recognizing it as non-self, even that antigen has to be removed or eliminated. Okay, so there is another pathway for this, right? So let me just give me 1 minute. Okay, students, so let me just share the slides. Okay, students, so this is your cytosolic pathway, right? So we are talking about the cytosolic pathway and it is for the endogenous antigens. Okay, so endocytic pathway is for exogenous antigens. Okay, so students, I am repeating this again and again. Be very careful with this. Okay, endogenous antigen uses the cytosolic pathway, right? And endogenous or endocytic pathway is for the exogenous antigens. Okay, so today we are going to focus on the cytosolic pathway which processes endogenous antigen. Okay, and here again the protein or the antigen, it is degraded, right, into small peptides, and where that degradation takes place, that takes place in the cytoplasm. Okay, and that's why it is called cytosolic pathway. Okay, clear? And associate with class 1 MHC molecule. Okay, so in this case, there are few things. So one is, it is the cytosolic pathway. Okay, uh, why? Because the peptide breakage or the formation of peptide, it happens in the cytoplasm. Okay, and which MHC is used here? MHC is your MHC1. And student, if it is MHC1, it will present to which cell? MHC1 will present the peptide to which cell?
TC cells.
Yes. Okay, and these TC cells are CD8 positive. Okay, so this is the whole story that we are going to see today. Now again, जैसे कल उस pathway में there were different steps. Again, in MHC class 1 pathway there are different steps, and the first step is the processing of endogenous antigen. So if you remember, in the other pathway, the first thing was capturing of the antigen and internalizing it. Okay, but we don't need that here, because the antigen is already inside the cell. It was generated inside the cell, right? So the first thing that need to be done is the breakdown of that antigen into smaller peptides. Okay, so the first thing is processing of these endogenous antigen. Okay, now where is this processing taking place? It is taking place inside the cytoplasm, right? And where is your MHC1 formed? MHC1 is formed in the endoplasmic reticulum, right? So the next step is transporting of these peptides, okay, from the cytoplasm into the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so this is a cell. Here in the cytoplasm, the antigen is broken down into smaller peptides, right? And these smaller peptides now should get into the endoplasmic reticulum, okay, where peptide loading will take place. Okay, so obviously in the endoplasmic reticulum you have the MHC1 molecule, and then what we do, from cytoplasm we send the peptide inside, and inside it can load onto the MHC1 molecule, right? And once this is done, the next step is presenting it to CD8 positive cytotoxic T lymphocytes. Okay, so these are the steps of MHC class 1 pathway, and we will see these steps one by one. Okay, so when we talk about endogenous antigens, so there are a lot of denatured, misfolded or abnormal proteins, right? So अभी immunology को भूल जाओ, but even in our normal process, a lot of proteins get denatured, a lot of misfolded proteins are generated, a lot of abnormal proteins are generated, okay? And they are basically your endogenous antigens, okay? And these intracellular proteins, they are degraded into short peptides by the cytosolic proteolytic system, okay? साइटोसोलिक प्रोटियोलाइसिस, प्रोटीन को लाइस करने का एक सिस्टम है. ओके, सो इन आवर सेल्स देयर इज अ साइटोसोलिक प्रोटियोलाइटिक सिस्टम which will break down or yes, which will break down any denatured, misfolded or abnormal protein that has formed in the cell. Okay. Now, you know, एक सेल के अंदर बहुत सारे प्रोटीन्स हैं, right? So how the cell comes to know which proteins have to be broken down? Okay, there need to be some system, right? नहीं तो फिर पता चलेगा सारे proteins degrade होते जा रहे हैं, right? So there has to be some system which detects, okay, this particular protein need to be degraded, right? Just for example, you know, the things that we do not need, we put them in the garbage box, right, or the dustbin. And now the people who are coming for collecting the garbage, they know that we have to collect it from this particular point. Okay, so they will take that and process it, right? So similarly, the proteins which are targeted for proteolysis, they have a small protein ubiquitin attached to it. Okay, so जिस भी प्रोटीन का प्रोटियोलाइसिस होना है उसको टैग कर दिया जाता है, right? So ubiquitin attaches to it, right? So just for example, you know, this is your protein and this is an abnormal protein. This needs to be degraded, right? So what happens to this? One of the protein which is ubiquitin, it will go and bind. Okay, so now this protein is tagged that this will go for proteolysis, right? Just for example, in a hospital, you know, the patients, उनके हाथ पे एक बैंड बांध दिया जाता है, right? So you can identify that, okay, because इसके बैंड लगा है, this is a patient, others are not the patient, they are maybe the relatives or the, you know, staff, right? So just to give an identification, right? So here similarly, proteins which are targeted for proteolysis, a small protein ubiquitin attaches to them. Okay, now this ubiquitin protein conjugate, so we are talking about this whole conjugate, right? So this ubiquitin protein conjugate is then degraded by a protease complex which is called proteasome. Okay, so this whole complex or this conjugate will now go into another machine which is called proteasome. Okay, so you know, just for example, as I said, right, so you are putting the garbage in the dustbin, right? So the people who are coming to collect it, they know that we have to collect whatever is there in this dustbin. Okay, they will collect and take it to a place where it will be processed, right? So they may put it in some machine where it is segregated or where it is burnt or where whatever processing takes place, right? So similarly, the proteins which are tagged with ubiquitin, they get into a protein complex which is called a proteasome. Okay, so just remember these terms. So one of the term is ubiquitin, okay, which is attached to the misfolded, denatured or the abnormal protein, and जिस पे ये bind कर गया, so ubiquitin protein conjugate, it moves into proteasome. Okay, now what is proteasome? So proteasome is a large cylindrical particle, okay, consisting of 4 rings of protein subunit with central channel of 10 to 15 angstrom. Okay, so it's like a pipe. I'm sure you all have seen a water pipe, right? हम सबके घरों में एक पाइप होगी. Okay, so proteasome is something like this. Okay, so now you have a protein which is tagged with ubiquitin. Okay, so now what happens? This whole complex will get inside this tube, okay, or this proteasome, and inside this proteasome this protein will be broken down, okay, and from the other end of the tube or the proteasome the peptides will come out. Okay, so degradation of this ubiquitin protein complex, it takes place inside the central hollow of this proteasome. Okay, and this prevent lysis of other proteins within the cytoplasm, right? So as I said, protein cell के अंदर बहुत सारे proteins हैं, okay, but not all proteins are degraded, right? So only the one which have ubiquitin attached to it. So ubiquitin basically helps the protein to get into this pipe, okay, and inside this proteasome these proteins are broken down into peptides, and from other end you get the peptides. Okay, clear? So अभी तक हमने दो वर्ड्स यूज किए हैं, ubiquitin and proteasome, right? Any confusion at this point?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, so students, you can see here, so this is your protein which is targeted, okay? So amino group on lysine side chain, right? So what happens at this point, ubiquitin attaches to it. So you can see to this protein, ubiquitin has attached, okay? So protein to be degraded is covalently linked to ubiquitin, okay? And there is a ubiquitinating enzyme complex. It links several ubiquitin molecules to the lysine, okay? So at the lysine amino acid near amino terminus, okay? So ये जो भी प्रोटीन का अमीनो टर्मिनस होगा उसके साइड पे जो लाइसिन का मॉलिक्यूल होगा, लाइसिन अमीनो एसिड होगा, वहां पे ubiquitin will bind. So now this is your ubiquitin protein complex, okay, or ubiquitin protein conjugate, and this conjugate will now get into proteasome for its degradation. Okay, so ये पाइप में यहाँ से एंटर कर गया into the proteasome. So the next slide we'll see what comes out at the other end. Okay, so this whole conjugate gets into the proteasome. Inside this there are a lot of proteolytic enzymes, okay? So these enzymes will break down this protein into small peptides. So now in the cytoplasm we have a lot of peptides, okay? Now where is your MHC molecule? It is in the endoplasmic reticulum, right? So now these peptides need to go into the endoplasmic reticulum, right? So let's see this happen, right? But before that, what till this point we have talked is the general pathway of protein degradation, right? It's a general pathway for any protein which is normally formed in our body, okay? But the immune system somewhat modify this proteasome, okay? And how it modify the proteasome is by addition of some other subunits to proteasome. Okay, so you already have a proteasome, but immune system क्या करेगा? जब immune system activate होगा, right, it will add some more subunits to the proteasomes. For example, your LMP2, LMP7, LMP10, okay, which are induced by increased levels of interferon gamma. तो जब वायरल इन्फेक्शन होगा फॉर एग्जाम्पल, तब इंटरफिरॉन लेवल्स बढ़ेंगे. ओके, now this interferon will give the signal to the cell that now please add these other molecules to the proteasome. Okay, so now peptidase activity of proteasome containing these extra molecules, they lead to generating peptide that bind MHC one molecule, right? तो इससे पहले ये peptides, you know, they can be of bigger size, right? But जब इस proteasome में हम LMPs लगा देंगे, okay, so when interferon level goes up, you know, some LMPs, other proteins are added to this subunit, and with the help of these, अब जो peptides बनेंगे, they will be of the size which can fit into the peptide binding groove of MHC class 1 molecule. Okay, you can see here what happens. You know, this is how proteasome act. So, you know, you can see, right? Okay, so now peptides are formed, right? So the next step is transporting of these peptides into the endoplasmic reticulum, right? Acha, now if you want to transport, you need some transporter proteins, right? So there are transporter proteins which are called TAP. And what is TAP? It is transporter associated with antigen processing. Okay, so these are membrane spanning heterodimers. Okay, so they are spanning the whole of the membrane, and I will show you the picture in next slide. And there are two TAPs, TAP 1 and TAP 2. Okay, and they are ATP dependent, so they help in the transport of amino acids, sugars, iron, and peptides. Okay, so the peptides that were formed, they will take the help of these transporter proteins to get into the endoplasmic reticulum, and you can see the picture here. So this is your membrane of the endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, and you have two TAP proteins, TAP1 and TAP2, right? And they are in the cytoplasm side, right? So they will capture the peptides, okay, and then allow its entry into the endoplasmic reticulum, right? Again, it's a very interesting thing that it will selectively allow the peptides to go in, only those peptides which are of that specific size. Okay, so you can see it's a multiple transmembrane segment, one hydrophobic domain. हाइड्रोफोबिक है मतलब पानी से डरता है, so it is projected into the lumen of rough endoplasmic reticulum, right? So the hydrophobic part is inside the one ATP binding domain, it projects into the cytosol, right? And you can see now what's happening here. You have a protein जिस पे ubiquitin लगा है, it is going into the cytoplasm, into the proteasome, it is broken down, and now these peptides need to be sent inside the endoplasmic reticulum where there is newly synthesized class 1 MHC molecule. Okay, okay, so now let's see what these TAP1 and TAP2 do. So peptide generated in cytosol by proteasome are then translocated by the TAP proteins into the rough endoplasmic reticulum. And you can see here, so this is, endoplasmic reticulum membrane, okay, and this is your cytosol, right? So from cytosol, the protein needs to now get into the endoplasmic reticulum. See what happens. So these are TAP proteins. They are picking up the peptides and transporting this peptide here. Okay, and for this they are using ATP, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now these TAP transport peptide with the length of 8 to 13 amino acids, right? Why? Because this is the optimal peptide length for MHC class 1 molecule, right? So ये जो TAP proteins हैं, they are acting as gatekeepers, okay, selectively allowing only the peptides which are of the size 8 to 13 amino acids to enter, okay. And why these peptides? Because only these peptides would fit into the groove of the MHC class 1 molecules. तो वो बिना मतलब कि अंदर भीड़ हो वो नहीं चाहते, इसीलिए they selectively allow only the peptides which are of the size 8 to 13 amino acids, right? So you can see again, it is regulated, right? Things are regulated. अगर नॉर्मल प्रोटीन है जिसकी प्रोसेसिंग प्रेजेंटेशन नहीं करनी है तो ये वाले पेप्टाइड्स होंगे ही नहीं, राइट? सो ओनली द पेप्टाइड्स विद दिस अमीनो एसिड लेंथ will get into the endoplasmic reticulum so that they can get loaded onto the MHC class 1 molecule. So like other proteins, alpha chain and beta 2 microglobulin of MHC class 1 is synthesized in rough endoplasmic reticulum. So now let's see how the MHC class 1 molecule is synthesized. Okay. So you know there is an alpha chain, right, with 3 domains, and you have a beta 2 microglobulin associated with the alpha chain, right? So you know, first let's understand what is molecular chaperones. I think you may have heard these name chaperones, right? So these chaperones are basically proteins which facilitate folding of polypeptides. Okay, so alpha chain तो सीधी chain है, right? तो इसकी folding भी तो करनी है ताकि वे proper shape ले, right? So इसमें this chaperones they help. Okay, so the molecular chaperone first involved in MHC1 assembly is calnexin. Okay, so calnexin is a molecular chaperone that helps in the folding of MHC class 1 chain. Okay, and basically it will help in the MHC1 assembly, right? Because students, if you remember, alpha chain बनती है और beta 2 कहीं और बनता है, right? So someone has to help them to get together and form the final structure. Okay, so what happens? Calnexin associate with pre-class 1 alpha chain and promotes its folding, right? So alpha chain है, alpha chain पे calnexin आके bind करता है, right? And when अब जब beta 2 microglobulin आएगा, okay, so when beta 2 microglobulin binds to the alpha chain, calnexin is released, right? So calnexin का काम है basically beta 2 microglobulin को MHC1 के साथ associate करवाना, okay? And once that happens, calnexin is released, right? Now there are other chaperones like calreticulin and tapacin, and tapacin is basically TAP associated protein. Okay, So tapacin is tap associated protein. Okay. Okay. So TAPASIN, tapacin. Okay. Now, what is the role of tapacin? It brings tap transporter into proximity with class 1 molecule. So, so you remember the tap proteins, the tap transporter proteins, right? So tap tapacin क्या करेगा? टैप को MHC1 के पास ले जाएगा, right? So brings tap transporter into proximity with class 1 molecules, which allows it to acquire antigen peptide. Okay, now maybe I'll just show you this with the yeah. Okay, so you can see initially जब MHC1 बनता है, इसके साथ calnexin bind है. Okay, so calnexin is bound to MHC class 1 molecule, right? Then when beta 2 microglobulin binds to this, then calnexin is released. Okay, then as I said, there is calreticulin, there is tapacin, so they help to bring this molecule close to the tap proteins. Okay, so now you can imagine, right? So यहाँ से पेप्टाइड अंदर आएगा. Okay, ये इसके पास आ चुका है. यहाँ से it will be loaded onto the peptide binding groove. Okay, like this, right? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so students, I'll just take a break, just absorb whatever I have told you, and we'll have attendance, and then I'll discuss more. Okay. Any question?
If you could explain how the immune system modifies the proteasome again.
Okay. 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 So immune system. So when there is some infection, and especially when there is viral infection, when uh, I think when we talked about endogenous antigens, we said that when there is viral infection, there is production of endogenous antigens, right? Because some new proteins are formed at that point, right? So when there is viral infection, there is high concentration of interferon gamma, right? So when interferon gamma levels are increased, then that interferon gives a signal to the cell that you add some additional proteins to the proteasome, right? So there are a lot of different proteins like the one I said, right? So those proteins then bind with the proteasome, right? And the function of those uh, extra protein is that now, basically it is fine tuning of the proteasome. So now it will produce the peptides which are of even smaller size, right? So now the peptides which will be formed will be of 8 to 13 amino acids, right? So they basically just fine tuning the proteasome to produce peptides which are of smaller size. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, students, be ready for your attendance. Sam. Sam.
Am I audible?
Yes, audible. Okay, Tridev. Tridev. Manaswini.
Present, sir.
Adish.
Present, sir.
Okay, Yuvraj. Yuvraj. Sanjana. Sanjana. Nehal.
Present, sir.
Atoiba.
Yes, sir.
Devanshi.
Present, sir.
Nandini. Nandini. Kshitij. Kshitij. Janvi.
Present, sir.
Shivani.
Present, sir.
Shakti.
Present, sir.
Shakti, you are not visible.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible but not visible. Rupal.
Present, sir.
Sahiba.
Present, sir.
Okay. Ishita.
Present, sir.
Namrata.
Present, sir.
Tanvi.
Present, sir.
Yukta. Yukta.
Sir, Yukta is present. She is having network issues.
Okay. Ayushi.
Present, sir.
Vivek.
Present, sir.
Vanchika.
Present, sir.
Okay. So Kshitij and Tridev, they are absent. Okay. So students, let's come back to the pathway. The pathway is over, right? So it's a very simple pathway. So I'll just show you some more, pictures to explain the pathway. So students, if you will, read Cube, you will find this picture. So you can see class 1 MHC molecule, we have the alpha chain, right? And then calnexin is attached to it, right? So you can see calnexin associated with MHC alpha chain. Now, when beta 2 microglobulin comes and bind to it, so it is removed. So calnexin is removed, right? And then calreticulin and tapacin also get removed. So you can see calnexin is removed, tapacin and calreticulin binds to it, okay? And later on you can see tapacin and calreticulin, they also get dissociated, they bring it close to tap and exit the endoplasmic reticulum, right? So this is what you will see in Cube, but you know there are some other diagrams even better. So you can see here that this is your endoplasmic reticulum. So this is your protein. To this protein ubiquitin will bind, okay? It will now go into the proteasomes, and these black dots, these are the special proteins which associate with proteasome when interferon levels increases. That lead to generation of lot of peptides. These peptides then go through the tap and get inside, okay, where MHC class 1 alpha chain is newly synthesized, and by all those processes it gets close to the tap protein, and these peptides then get loaded onto the groove of the MHC class 1 molecule, okay? Just to represent this, so you know now what happens, the peptide is loaded, okay, and this will now, you know, antigen peptide class 1 MHC molecule presented on cell membrane by exocytosis. So the same process that we saw yesterday, this complex now moves outside, okay, and exported to the cell surface. So these are some of the extra things which I'm not going to discuss. Okay, just to represent the same thing in a different way, you know. So this is your protein, okay. So this protein is put in the proteasome, then small peptides are formed, right? Then tap proteins, they get hold of the peptides and send it to endoplasmic reticulum, where it is loaded onto the MHC class 1 molecule, and then they are presenting it, and then CD8 positive T cell will interact with them, okay, and get activated. So you can see this polymer getting activated after seeing peptide, okay. So you know I took this picture from another journal, okay, Nature Reviews. So again the same thing. So you have a cytoplasmic protein, it goes into the proteasome, peptides are formed which gets into the endoplasmic reticulum. There are a lot of different chaperones associated with it. Ultimately the peptides are loaded onto MHC class 1 molecule, and then through the Golgi apparatus they move out and they present it to CD8 positive T cells, okay. So it's a very simple pathway, and now I'll just show you a very small video to you know, clear this. Okay, okay, just wait. So virally infected cell produce these mRNAs, right? So they get transported into cytosol. So now you will see that new proteins will be formed. Now they have to be degraded, right? So ubiquitin will bind to it. Okay, so not all, but some of them will enter into the endoplasmic reticulum via the TAP proteins. Okay, so students, you can see again, it's a very simple pathway. The only thing is you just need to, again, I'm saying, you just need to sit down in the evening, draw this pathway, and it will be clear, because now what is going to happen is that you are going to get confused with these two pathways, right? So some of you will put HLA-DM in this pathway, and some of you are going to put calnexin in that pathway, right? So just sit down, think about it, draw it, and both the pathways will be clear to you. Okay? So students, that's it for today, and we'll meet in the next week. So this topic is complete, and in the next week we will start with hypersensitivity reactions. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, students. So I'm ending the class now.
Thank you, sir.
And if you have any questions, I'm sure you will go back and read. So if you will have any questions, we can take it, when we start our next class in the next week. Okay. Okay, students, I'm ending the class now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so students, you can leave now, right?